Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we take the sources you share and really dig into them, turning dense info into something dynamic.
And today, we're diving into Danielle Wood's 2006 book, Rosie Little's Cautionary Tales for Girls. It's incredibly sharp, funny in a dark way, and, well, pretty critical.
It really is. What I find fascinating is how it doesn't give you easy answers. It's all anecdotes, little bits of science, even literary critique.
Using all that to sort of dissect what it's like being a woman and navigating, a world that's constantly trying to define you, often pretty clumsily, sometimes cruelly.
Before we jump right in, maybe give us a bit on the author, Danielle Wood.
Right. So Danielle Wood, she's a big name in Australian literature, actually started as a journalist, now teaches writing at the University of Tasmania.
Ah, the journalist background makes sense, that sharp observation.
Exactly. And her first novel, The Alphabet of Light and Dark, won some major awards, like the Australian Vogel Literary Award back in 2002. So she brings that journalistic eye, but also a novelist's depth.
Okay, so what's our mission here? What are we trying to pull out of these cautionary tales?
Well, Rosie Little herself kind of sets the mission. She says these tales aren't for the, quote, good and well-behaved girls.
Right. They're for girls with boots as stout as their hearts. I love that line.
Me too. It's just there for women ready to face life head-on, expecting things to go wrong sometimes, expecting miscalculations.
So our job is to unpack that specific kind of caution. What insights is she offering about dealing with, well, everything?
Yeah, we're going to follow her through some big themes. The awkwardness of first sexual experiences, how language fails us there.
The weird psychology of, totems, how we get defined by objects.
Absolutely. And darker stuff, too. Abusive relationships. The cynicism of working in a newsroom. Even how newspaper headlines get written.
It covers a lot of ground. Okay, let's get into it. Part one seems to be about these harsh realities, expectations, and finding your identity.
Yeah, and it kicks off right away with Rosie's own deflowering story.
Not exactly romantic, is it?
Not at all. Near the Hyphen-Wilson boat shed on a splintery jetty, she says. Clumsy, quick, with a boy named Gerard Hyphen-Wilson just before she turned 15.
And the key thing she focuses on isn't really the act itself, but the words. Or the lack of them.
Precisely. The failure of language. She brings up, classic literature like the Vicomte de Valmont, seducing Cécile in Les Liaisons Dangereuses.
Right, using all these hushed Latin terms.
Yeah.
Very sophisticated, very hidden.
But Rosie says her education was Latinless, so that kind of delicate coded language wasn't available to her.
And she critiques the English words we do have.
Yeah, she finds them either too clinical, like fellatio, which she says sounds like a decorative globe, or they just don't have the right sound, the onomatopoeia.
She wants words that actually sound like the thing itself.
Exactly. She mentions suck or even gargle as being more honest, more visceral.
Which is a stark contrast to what her seducer Gerard actually said.
Right, no Latin subtlety there. Just a crude two-syllable word. Snatch.
Ugh. It just immediately highlights that gap, doesn't it? Between some imagined romantic ideal and the often grubby reality.
And that reality is made worse because she felt so unprepared. Her mother, Nurse Pat Little, tried to educate her.
But in a very specific way.
Right.
Anatomical.
Totally. Just the proper names for body parts.
Yeah.
Which apparently backfired when Rosie was 5 and used vagina, talking to a groundsman about falling off her bike.
Okay, maybe not the best strategy.
Yeah.
But the bigger failure was in preparing her for the actual physicality.
Yes. The clinical terms didn't prepare her for seeing an erect penis for the first time. Her description is so precise, sticking straight up, and its underside was all covered in veins. It's shock, pure visual shock.
And the famous consistency issue.
Oh, yeah. Semen. She'd heard white, sticky substance, so she was picturing toothpaste. But what she got was, quote, egg whitish sort of muck. It's that gap, again, clinical description versus messy reality. And her obsession with nailing down the facts, that seems key to how she copes.
It's like, if the emotional experience is confusing or humiliating, she retreats into data, which brings us to her scientific tangents.
Exactly. It's a way to regain control intellectually, like her deep dive into Lieutenant William Schonfield's 1940s penis measurement research.
Right, I remember this bit. He only measured erect ones because flaccid size varies too much. Smart, in a way.
And very methodical. He measured 1,500 men and boys in New York.
And what were the key takeaways for Rosie? The numbers she latched onto.
Well, the average adult erect length was 15 centimeters, but maybe more importantly for her, 90% were over 11 centimeters. It's like she's finding a baseline statistical norm to cling to.
But she doesn't just stop with humans, which is where it gets really interesting. The zoology.
Oh, the animal facts are brilliant. It normalizes weirdness, right? Shows that human anatomy is just one possibility.
Here were some of the highlights.
She mentions the pig's corkscrew penis, over 40 centimeters long.
Wow.
The snake's split one, the hemipenis, the tapirs, which is shaped like an anvil.
An anvil? Seriously?
Apparently. And she even gets into the barbed spines on cat and dog penises.
Okay, why the spines?
Gruesome detail. They're apparently for scraping out rival males' semen during mating.
Yikes. Nature is brutal. But it's fascinating how she uses these extreme examples. It kind of puts the human stuff in perspective, maybe.
I think so. It's a way of saying, look, it's all strange. It's all biological mechanics. It deflates some of the anxiety, maybe?
Or maybe it's trading one kind of anxiety for another, like obsessing over data to avoid the emotional mess.
That's a really good point. Data feels safe, controllable, and she uses it to debunk myths, too, like the one about the band 10cc.
Oh, yeah, the ejaculation volume story. What was the myth again?
That the average ejaculation was 9 cubic centimeters, and the band named themselves 10cc because they were, one better, a boast.
But Rosie brings the facts.
She does, with precision. A cubic centimeter is a milliliter. The average is actually 3 to 5 milliliters.
Which is tiny. Like a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon, yeah. And only about 5 calories. She just strips away the myth and replaces it with these small, verifiable, almost mundane facts.
It's a defense mechanism almost. Okay, so from the physical body and its facts, let's shift to the psychological weight of how others define us. The story, The Burden of the Totem, really nails this.
It really does. It's about Rosie's cousin, Meredith. She's overweight, but Rosie points out her real elephantiasis isn't the medical condition.
Which is caused by filariasis, that swelling thing.
Right. Meredith's issue is social. She's metaphorically burdened by elephants.
And it starts so innocently, doesn't it? A gift given, a gift received.
Totally accidentally. She gives someone a travel pillow, gets an elephant toy back for watering some plants.
Agapanthus, I think it was.
That's it. And then it just snowballs. Her place gets filled with elephant stuff, jade elephants, ebony ones, Baybar bubble bath.
Fridge magnets. The whole 9 yards.
And the kicker is, she hates elephants. She feels punished by this identity that's been thrust upon her.
And there's that backstory about the pig greeting card.
Oh, yeah, the childhood incident. Her mother, Rona, stops her buying a cute pink pig card for Auntie Pat.
Why?
Because Rena says, you might as well call her a pig. Protecting her sister's feelings? Maybe, but the message Meredith gets is huge.
That objects, totems, carry this massive symbolic weight, that they can define you, even cruelly.
Exactly. It sets her up for this intense sensitivity to being labeled, which all leads to that disastrous 25th birthday party.
Set in a Thai restaurant of all places.
Nice.
And she's got this whole internal speech plan.
Yeah, her secret confession, I hate elephants, but she never gets to say it.
Because the gifts are just too much. The mother's gift.
The framed photo of the matriarch elephant rescuing a calf, symbolizing Rona's extraordinary love and determination to help Meredith. It's suffocating.
And then the Elegram boys arrive.
The Elegram boys. Peak humiliation. 2 tan guys in a saggy pink elephant suit.
Do the baby elephant walk on the Lazy Susans.
And Rosie's description is just brutal. Rotating their trunks like tassels on a showgirl's nipples. It's utterly absurd and horrifying for Meredith.
And she's just trapped. Can't deliver her speech, can't escape the performance. It shows how hard it is to reject a label once the world assigns it to you.
Yeah, that clash between internal truth and external performance.
I am.
Which connects perfectly to the next story about Justine and Henri and the price of beauty and control in the wardrobe.
This one's chilling. Justine moves in with Henri, and his closet is just wealth. Alpaca, merino, quality.
Makes her own clothes feel inadequate, tatty. And Henri starts controlling her appearance almost immediately.
It begins with getting rid of her favorite cardigan.
Her Sunday cardigan, the Starsky and Hutch one, real wool, comfortable. Henri just dismisses it. You don't really wear this. Erasing the authentic Justine.
Then the shopping trip. That's where the pressure really ramps up.
Oh, totally. The boutique with the licorice-thin shop girls. Henri completely dictates her style. No bright colors, only sleek, oppressive shapes. Creams, browns, greens.
Clothes suitable for an X-ray, she says. They sound restrictive, almost painful.
And when Justine worries they won't fit, Henri just says, they'll fit. It's a command.
And the shop girl backs him up. Henri's a real wizard with fit. It's not about fitting her, it's about making her fit the clothes.
A forced transformation.
Yeah.
And it culminates at Henri's party. Justine feels out of place, faintly useless.
Tries to make herself useful serving snacks.
Right, playing the role. But then Henri looks at her, compares her to a mannequin, and something snaps.
The psychosomatic event? It's terrifying.
It is. She drops the tray, feels the stiffness, creeping, seizing, cramping, aching through her body, collapses face down in the flowers.
Pansies, wasn't it?
Yes, pansies. And the aftermath is just, wow. Medically, it's diagnosed as a stroke.
But the details of the lingering effects are what's so powerful. 2 years later.
Her arms are bent, fingers locked. Her feet have shrunk 2 sizes. And her toes.
Permanently arched, right? Like they're always accepting a high heel.
Exactly. It's like the pressure to conform to his aesthetic ideal literally reshaped her body, froze her in this pose of submission. Her body becomes the evidence of the control.
It's a devastating metaphor. From aesthetic control to the dynamics of relationships. Let's move into part 2.
Okay, part 2 gets into relationships, starting with love, the anatomy of wolves. This is where Rosie meets the actor, the wolf.
And she meets him when he's wearing a yellow taffeta ball gown. That's quite an entrance.
Very theatrical, and the start of the relationship reflects that. It's intense, physical, playful.
The roly-poly cubs phase. Spraying hair silver, reading vampire stories in cemeteries. It sounds like a performance.
It does. Very high drama, very consuming, but the dark side emerges pretty quickly.
The first instance of violence.
Yeah, after his birthday party, he's drunk, feels she abandoned him, and he hits her. And then, this is really disturbing, he urinates on the television set.
Whoa. Just a complete breakdown of control, a violation of their shared space.
Totally. And then, inevitably, comes the remorse. The cycle of abuse kicks in.
The penitence loop, she calls it. How does that manifest?
It's classic manipulation, but Rosie details it so clearly. He cleans the house, shaves, buys little gifts, ladybird chocolates, rubber dinosaurs.
And the bath.
Runs her a bubble bath, tends to her bruises with witch hazel, and reads to her from the snow goose, doing all the voices.
And Rosie admits the tears she cries during that ritual feel strongly like love. That confusion is the core of the trap, isn't it?
Absolutely. Mistaking that intensity, that performance of care for actual love. The next big incident happens when she's late home from work.
He gets drunk, corners her, accuses her.
Yeah, another violent outburst. And it's after this one, when they're at his parents' house, that his mother sees the truth.
That's such a powerful scene. The mother knew violence from her own past.
She looks at Rosie's face, looks at her son, pushes food around on her plate, then just stops.
And says that line.
I know what it looks like when a man hits a woman. I know exactly what it looks like. Just states it. Then she tips both their dinners into the bin.
A silent, devastating refusal to pretend anymore. It's incredible solidarity without saying much.
It really is. The final injury described is when Rosie gets hit by the door during another fight.
What about his parents?
That's the one. She ends up with 6 stitches between her eyebrows. Leaves a permanent scar.
The moon-shaped mark. Like a brand.
Exactly. A physical marker of his ownership, his violence. And when she finally seeks help, the domestic violence counselor is blunt.
No pity, just facts.
Right. The counselor says, in this blunt truth way, he'll bash you again. Rosie wants to argue, wants to believe she can manage it.
But the counselor just checks her watch, implying it's inevitable, just a matter of time. The scar becomes Rosie's permanent caution.
Such a heavy story. Moving from that danger to a different kind of relationship breakdown, let's look at commitment, the depthlessness of Soup. Paula and Will.
2 years together and the tension is high. Dangerously inflated balloons, she calls them.
Yeah, unspoken words just building up. Paula thinks a proposal is imminent. She's prepping for it.
Including the Brazilian wax ordeal.
Oh, God, yes. Painful in itself, but made worse by the waxing attendant, Mary Joy from South Africa.
Right, Mary Joy grilling her about how long they've been together.
2 years? Oh, wow. Shit. And Mary Joy got married quickly, highlighting Paula's feeling of being stuck in limbo.
So Paula feels the pressure, and Will seems focused on, like, the perfect proposal moment.
Exactly. He's got it all planned. But Paula can't wait. She lays down an ultimatum.
Basically, commit, or I'm moving on. Get on with my life.
Very direct. But Will tries to stall, wants to do it his way at his planned moment, tries to distract her with the food.
The consommé is quite peppery.
Yeah, trying to focus her on the soup, which becomes symbolic of the relationship shallow, nice on the surface, but ultimately thin.
But Paula keeps pushing. She won't let it go.
And he just snaps, loses it completely, stands up and yells.
The big line, "For fuck's sake, here, look here, see this? It contains an engagement ring."
And then he throws the ring box.
Right into the soup.
Stop. Lands right in the consommé. Rosie describes the box sitting there like an already looted treasure chest.
Oh, perfect imagery. The ritual, the romance, just instantly ruined, dissolved in peppery broth.
Paula got the proposal she demanded, technically, but the moment was just gone. Spoiled. Depthless.
She tries to salvage it, calling, "Will, I will," but he's already walking away.
Too late. The lack of grace, the forced timing, it just negated the whole thing.
Okay, so from a proposal gone wrong to a wedding gone spectacularly wrong. Marriage. The bride before a fall, Angela Cuthbert.
Angela. Meets Rosie in the airport, ladies. Fully decked out in her wedding dress, ready for her grand Australian entrance.
Her vision is to emerge from the plane like a magnificent white butterfly to impress the new in-laws.
Who couldn't make it to the actual wedding in the UK, and the reason why is just peak Danielle Wood dark humor.
The father-in-law and the spider, right?
White-tailed spider bite while getting the lawnmower. Finger had to be amputated, which delayed knee surgery, which meant no long flight, just a cascade of mundane disaster.
So Angela's pinning all her hopes on this arrival performance, but the flight itself is already going badly.
She's uncomfortable. Bones in my corset are jabbing me in the tits. Classic Rosie detail. Then she makes a mistake.
Looks at a bridal magazine.
Yeah, and finds a ring she likes better than her own. A little crack in the perfect facade appears. She feels like she failed materially.
And then fate, or maybe just airline clumsiness, steps in.
The red wine incident. Stewardess spills it all over the white satin dress. Disaster.
And Angela's reaction is over the top.
Apparently hysterical. So much so that her new husband, Jeremy, commits the ultimate sin.
He laughs.
He laughs, tells her, "You do look a bit funny."
Oh, dear. And the landing is just the final nail in the coffin.
Totally inevitable. Wind rips her veil as she steps out. Slips on the stairs, slides down on her bottom.
Pride goeth before a fall, literally.
Exactly. And the in-laws see the whole thing through the terminal glass, including Angela throwing her silk shoes at Jeremy.
And Jeremy throws one back.
Yes, only for it to be intercepted by a local Aussie rules player. It's just complete farce.
Rosie feels responsible in a way, like she wrote Angela's downfall.
Yeah, like Angela's excessive need for perfection demanded this kind of spectacular failure. She became the living embodiment of bride before a fall, a true cautionary tale.
So relationships are fraught with peril. Maybe work offers some meaning or escape. Part 3 takes us into the newsroom with the Rumpelstiltskin allegory.
Right. Rosie paints this picture of the newsroom hierarchy, young female reporters churning out copy.
Versus the older male sub-editors and editors. Divorced, drinking, the usual suspects.
And the symbolic figure of stagnation, Lorna, the chief sub.
The one who's been saying she'll leave in 6 more months for how long?
25 years. She's the cautionary tale of getting stuck.
And Rosie sees her own role in this system.
Clearly. She's the miller's daughter from Rumpelstiltskin, forced to spin straw, a handful of hearsay, half a rumor, into gold, meaning column inches for the editor.
It's all about generating content, often by exaggerating or twisting facts.
She gives that example with the health department official.
Oh yeah, the glandular fever thing. The official specifically says not to call it an epidemic.
Right. Just isolated cases. But what do the headlines scream the next day?
Teen kissing bug epidemic shock. Sensationalism wins over truth.
Every time. The editor knows what sells. And this leads to Rosie's own ethical crisis moment.
Christmas Eve, needing a story.
Gets a tip about a house fire. The photographer gets this perfect, heartbreaking shot.
The little girl, golden-haired polka dot dress, soot on her cheek, holding a ruined wreath.
Madison Jones.
Oh.
And Rosie sees the potential. She needs a quote to make it front page worthy.
So she invents one.
She does, the killer quote. But what if Santa doesn't know where to find me? Pure manipulation.
And the editor's reaction?
Declares it gold. Promotes her immediately.
And that word gold, that's the Rumpelstiltskin moment, isn't it? She spun the straw, got the reward, but crossed a line.
Exactly. It triggers her internal alarm. She realizes she's on the path to becoming Lorna, trapped in this cycle of producing lies for profit. That's her 6 months warning.
She has this vision of escaping, climbing out.
Yeah, climbing the giant office pot plant, Oscar, out through the roof towards the stars. A desperate need for escape before she's totally compromised.
That desire for meaning, for a way out, continues in the next section, longing and loss, particularly around that recurring symbol.
The heart-shaped rock. It appears in different contexts, carrying different weights of meaning.
For Aaron, it's about unspoken feelings.
Yeah, she gets this perfect red heart rock from her friend Bella, and it makes her realize it's too late to confess her romantic feelings. Bella's affection is too casual, too careless. The rock signifies that missed connection.
Then there's Julia. She finds the rock on a beach.
Right. Julia's 35, a lawyer, actively trying not to panic about being single and childless. She sees the rock as an omen, some kind of sign from the universe.
But her attempt to embrace this omen goes wrong very quickly.
Hilariously wrong. She puts it with her vitamins and accidentally swallows it the next morning.
Swallows the omen. And thinks she had an orgasm in her sleep because of it.
That's what she convinces herself. But the reality is a medical emergency.
The rock gets stuck. X-rays, endoscope fails, colonoscopy fails.
It's a whole ordeal. They finally schedule surgery on February 14th.
Of course. Happy Valentine's Day to me, she thinks. The irony is thick.
And the surgeon, Christine, has her own romantic subplot going on with Luke, the young surgical scout.
So when Christine retrieves the rock during surgery,
She feels something, feels its pulse, connects to that symbol of longing for a moment. Luke asks if she'll toss it to him.
a flirtatious challenge.
Yeah. But Christine resists, worried about being seen as the classic old perv. She chooses professional distance.
And drops the rock.
Deliberately into a specimen jar. Turns the symbol of fate and love into cold, hard evidence. She shuts down the romantic possibility.
It's a complex moment about choosing rationality over risk. But the most intense story of loss involves Faye and Tamsin.
Definitely. Faye is dying. Tamsin is her palliative care nurse. Tamsin feels she's the true daughter because she's the one providing care, unlike Faye's actual daughter, Kate, who seems absent.
But Tamsin has her own hidden grief.
Yes, a secret termination she deeply regrets. She keeps baby clothes hidden in a suitcase, fights with her partner, Michael, about the decision, feeling they financially killed our child.
And then comes that chilling revelation about where Faye's daughter Kate actually is.
Tamsin asks, maybe pushing a bit, and Faye says she's in the liquor cabinet.
Which is literally true.
Shockingly, yes. Her surgeon husband, Keith, preserved the aborted fetus in a jar of spirit years ago, placed it in the liquor cabinet as this incredibly dark, ironic gesture.
What was his reasoning again?
Faye quotes him, "When happiness is no longer possible, one might as well try to keep oneself amused." It's breathtakingly cynical.
And Tamsin finds the jar.
Lifts it out, sees the tiny fetus, and in that moment, her own hidden grief, her secret pain over her termination, finds this bizarre, tragic echo.
It's a connection forged in shared unspeakable loss, far deeper than the caregiving role. It validates her grief in a way nothing else could.
It's incredibly powerful and disturbing. Which leads us to the final section. Rosie trying to find her own path, her own destiny, and encountering that figure of polka dot providence.
She escapes the newsroom, takes a job on a cruise ship, assistant purser.
Trying on another identity, another set of rules. The cruise line's 10 commandments.
Like number 3, I smile, I am on stage. And number 10, I never say no.
I say I will be pleased to check and see. Total suppression of authentic response. Another performance.
And she has a brief fling on board.
With Russell Short. Rosie even clocks the nominative determinism. Rosie Little Rose Red meets Russell Short. Destined to be brief.
And he introduces that awful metaphor.
Not pushing the glass off the table. It's all about emotional cowardice, getting close to the edge but ensuring you're not blamed if things break.
He basically tells her he won't be responsible for her feelings.
Charming.
Utterly. And then drops the bomb that his wife is joining the next cruise. So that's over.
And Rosie's cruise career ends soon after. Yes, because she breaks rule number 10. She actually says no to a passenger, reclaims a tiny bit of autonomy.
And gets fired for it. Third strike.
So she's adrift again, this time in Canada, ends up in a tea room, and sees.
The polka dot woman. The recurring figure.
And Rosie finally puts it all together. This figure has been appearing throughout her life.
She was the pinup girl on the boat shed poster.
Miss August, yeah. And the domestic violence counselor wearing the bandana. And the little girl, Madison Jones, in the fire photo. Even a hand and a spotted glove in her christening photo.
So this woman represents...
What?
Rosie's conscience. Her intuition.
Something like that. The sum of her experiences, maybe her repressed wisdom. The woman sits down with her.
Doesn't say much at first. Sips her tea.
Then leans in and delivers the final piece of advice. It's simple but profound.
That your laces are undone, dear.
Exactly. And she taps her own chest, indicating it's not just her shoes. Rosie is all undone inside. Her heart, its crisscross corsetry, is loose.
And that's the catalyst.
Rosie.
Rosie gets it.
She consciously decides to lace up her heartstrings, then her actual boots, her Doc Martens. She's readying herself to step out again, but this time with intention, with self-awareness. The polka dot woman vanishes. Job done. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. So wrapping this up, the power of these stories really seems to be in that constant struggle, doesn't it? Rosie's search for authenticity, for self-lacing, you called it.
Yeah, in a world that's always trying to define her, box her in through crude language or impossible beauty standards or abusive relationships.
And the way Wood uses humor, even those scientific deep dives, it feels like coping mechanisms, ways to critique these huge cultural forces without being crushed by them.
Definitely. Rosie's fact-gathering, her linguistic nitpicking, like analyzing the word fellatio or the meaning of an aquiline nose, they're small acts of control, of intellectual defense against the chaos.
The stories really push you to think about the cost of just going along with things, the cost of conforming.
And the absolute necessity of figuring out who you are, separate from those external pressures, whether that means running from the newsroom's gold or resisting a controlling partner like Henri.
Which brings us nicely to our final thought for you, the listener, to take away from this deep dive.
Yeah, think about that polka dot woman. She shows up at Rosie's most critical moments when she's most undone. She seems to represent some kind of inner guide, right? Not panic, but providence.
So the question for you is, what internal guide, what quiet providence might you be ignoring when you're facing your own big decisions, your own undone moments?
Something to reflect on, perhaps, as you think about lacing up your own heartstrings. Thanks for diving deep with us today.